cross into the henbane. Don't trust anything you see. And sure as shit, don't believe a word that Faith says. Also, steer clear of those white flowers. They seem harmless, but they will fuck your shit up. If you don't believe me, just wait until you come across some of those shambling junkies. Don't call them angels, but they'll tear through you like shit through a goose.
It is Monday, March 27th, 2023. My name is Sam Cedar. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Jeff Charlotte, professor of English at Dartmouth College, author of his most recent, The Undertow, Scenes from a Slow Civil War. Meanwhile, speaking of slow civil war, in Israel, massive protests, a rash of government officials resigning, have convinced Bibi to delay his bid to strip the judiciary of power in that country. Meanwhile, the Trump Manhattan grand jury resumes today, this time under assault from the National Republican Party. First Citizens Bank acquires Silicon Valley Bank. LA schools and 30,000 workers reach a tentative deal following last week's strike. Supreme Court declines to hear Kansas's racial gerrymander case, which means the maps stay as is, racially gerrymandered. UAW elects a new president, though the election is maybe in dispute. Some aren't sure if that new president is what they think he is. Russia plans tactical nuke weapons to be stored in Belarus, calls for a UN investigation of the Nord Stream sabotage. Tornadoes slam Alabama and Mississippi, and an ex-Tucker Carlson producer files new claims that she was pressured to lie in the Dominion case. She's now offering to testify on behalf of Dominion. All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to get to. It is a Monday. Monday, says Emma Vigland. Matt is out. He is on grand jury. Not, we should say. Let's see if we can maybe get this even lined up a little bit. There we go. I got it.
I can go down.
Yep, just a little bit. Down is the other way. Yep. There we go. Bingo. Matt is on grand jury duty. Bradley is working all of the controls right now, so he's going to be juggling a little bit. Let's get right into it. We spoke. When did we speak to Mara? That was like 2 weeks ago. We spoke to a writer in Tel Aviv who's been writing quite a bit in Haaretz and other publications.
It's March 1st.
March 1st. I guess at the beginning of this month. And we're going to be speaking to him tomorrow as well. At that point, which has been ongoing protests on the weekends And understand, this is a country of about 9...
Real happens here. Like pure thrills on the all-new Pipeline. Experience real all year. Annual passes as low as $15 a month. No down payment. SeaWorld Orlando. Real amazing.
People. And really, I mean, two-thirds, well, a third of them barely have, full citizenship, even when they theoretically do. The idea of a couple 100,000, or like what we saw over the weekend, over 500,000 people protesting would be the equivalent of somewhere between like 5 and 18 million people protesting in this country. There were reports of military personnel, a lot of jet fighters, and the jet fighters to Israel are incredibly important. Basically telling their commanders, I'm prepared to resign because I'm not fighting for a dictatorship. The defense minister was fired when he said he could not support Netanyahu's power grab. The consul general in New York resigned. There were other people who resigned in Israel.
There was a general strike announcement, right?
Yeah, universities canceled classes, and this is just in here. This is the image of the police chief in Tel Aviv marching with protesters. Let's play this other clip we have too. Israeli police using water cannons on protesters as they took to the streets in Tel Aviv.
Al Jazeera put this kind of compilation of that footage to take a look. There it is. Now, that's an Al Jazeera compilation. What you did not see is people being shot with rubber bullets or actual bullets, which you would have seen for the Palestinians protesting. One of the things we talked about with Merritt Rappaport at the time, or back on March 1st, and we will discuss with him too, is that his argument was that if the Israeli left understood that they had common cause with the with Israeli Arabs and Palestinians, the left would be big enough to defeat the growing conservative, movement in Israel, which is, I wouldn't know exactly how to characterize it, but it's clearly the majority in that country, and a very conservative conservatism. And fascism too. I mean, it's incredible to see that. First of all, great job protesting, but as you say, without a broader view of
way that the Israeli government is constructed around democracy for me, not for thee, Palestinians, fascism for thee, not for me.
That's the weird thing about
there's
the whole
this
thing.
cognitive dissonance where, they can get to the streets in millions and then yet be so united and have the left be so marginal, speaking out against the cultural genocide or the apartheid of the Palestinians. That's disturbing.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But that's something that we'll talk about with
It just goes to show how much dehumanization has gone into this anti-Palestinian narrative for decades, because that's the only thing that can explain that cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, it really is stunning to watch. What again would be the equivalent of 18 million people come out on a weekend, and they've been doing this for weekends and weekends. I mean, not that many people, but close. And yet it is there's that sensitivity to the idea of losing a democracy, but they can't quite see the sort of like the other steps. You don't just show up here.
Yeah.
And particularly with the history of Jews having seen, you should really pay attention to the canaries in the coal mines, as it were.
Right, and the fact that if you structure a government in this way, it's always going to come back. Fascism will always come home. You can't exert it on the rest of the Palestinian population and not expect it to be turned on you.
And we will talk about that, theme of canaries in the coal mines with Jeff Charlotte about his book, The Undertow, Scenes from a Slow Civil War, in just a moment. First, a couple of words from our sponsors. One is from ZipRecruiter. You've got to hire in a situation where it may be hard to find good quality candidates, and it's really not even a question of finding generically good quality candidates. It's like you have a job. It is specific. Who has the experience and to fit that job? But when we were hiring on this program years ago, and that was what I couldn't even explain to people I knew what my job was, because they just look at me with the blank stares. And through ZipRecruiter, we found Brendan. When I was explaining to Brendan what we did here, when he came in for the interview, he's like, I know. Because my job was to find clips on YouTube, and I had to actually silence your show because I was finding all the clips I needed to find you had already done, and I didn't want you talking all over it and saying, pause it.
Right.
The point being, ZipRecruiter was not only super easy for me to use as someone who's not terribly adept at these type of things, but it was also incredibly effective. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/majority. What ZipRecruiter does, its technology sends you great candidates for your job. That's what happened with Brendan. It literally sent a push notification to him. This job may fit you perfectly. And then it also makes it easy for them to apply to the job, just one click. And they have all sorts of attention-grabbing labels, urgent, training provided, remote, et cetera, to make the job offering look more appealing. And it was incredibly effective. And they have a great user interface that made it super easy to organize. And you can get your job noticed by the best and brightest candidates with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. I interviewed a ton of people. I had great candidates to choose from. So Brenda came in and basically said, I've already watched so much of your stuff because that was my last job. So see for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address to find ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/majority. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/majority. MAJORIT. ZipRecruiter, it is the smartest way to hire. Also, another sponsor today. I just left this product just moments ago. Actually, not moments ago. This morning. Cozy Earth bedding. It is the softest. It is the most luxurious. It is also one of the most responsibly sourced bedding on the planet. thing I like about the sheets is temperature control. That's hugely important to me. And Cozy Earth bedding is made with the finest premium viscose. I had no idea what that meant. I mean, I knew it was from bamboo, which is incredibly sustainable, grows like a weed. But what I didn't realize is like how incredibly soft they can be. Their bedding is naturally temperature regulating. You're going to sleep comfy all year round. Cozy Earth apparently is also the brand that made Oprah's favorite things 5 years in a row. I must admit, don't know if I ever watched a single Oprah episode, but people seem to like it.
Yeah, she's got good taste.
But then I tried the what do they? I don't even know. Relaxing wear? What is it? Lounge wear? Yeah. Okay. So they have the luxury sheets, but they also have like pajamas and bath towels, which I have bath towels. But then I tried the loungewear. I got a pair of like joggers.
Right.
And I don't know if they sell it as like a yoga shirt or whatever it was, but it's just like kicking around on a Sunday.
Okay.
But then I found like I could wear the joggers out.
Yes, it's in a whole new world, Sam.
Yeah, I knew it. And now you can order their bedding in 5 awesome colors. So they give you a little canvas bag. It's nice. You can reuse that. There are over 5,000 5-star reviews on their website. Check it out, folks. Save 35% now on Cozy Earth. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Go to cozyearth.com/majority. Be sure to enter majority at checkout to save 35%. That is not a typo. I mean, I don't believe it's a typo. But it sounds like one. The cozyearth.com/majority. cozyearth.com/majority. As always, there will be links in the YouTube and podcast descriptions. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Jeff Charlotte, professor of English at Dartmouth College, author of The Undertow, Scenes from a Slow Civil War. Sam Cedar, Emma Vigland on the Majority Report. Joining us now, Jeff Charlotte. He is professor of English at Dartmouth College, author of his most recent, The Undertow, Scenes from a Slow Civil War. I think this is like your 5th or 6th book, if I, off the top of my head, Jeff. So congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Sam.
So, all right, this is a really interesting book, and obviously the subtitle, Scenes from a Slow Civil War, sort of the spoiler alert, maybe, let's hope not, but it's interesting because it really did remind me of, we should say, like, this is a series of essays that really cover the past 10 years or so, more or less, and sort of the slow degradation of our union on some level. Also intertwined in this is your personal journey, and there was something that reminded me of Sherman's March, that Ross McElwee documentary. I don't know if you ever saw that, but that was a seminal movie for me back in my earlier life, and there is a quality of that, except for this one sort of details. This is like almost like your own Sherman's March on some level. Like there's Sherman's on the march again on some level, but in reverse almost. But let's just start with the idea of defining fascism, because this book is sort of like marks a slight change in your perspective, or a significant change in your perspective as to its presence in this country.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Thanks for citing Sherman's March, which is a movie formative for me too. And I feel like we should say to viewers, especially Southerners, it's a sort of a first-person narrative of a guy going and sort of reviewing all his failed relationships, which is not what this book is about, because times have changed. Or maybe it is. It's about reviewing our failed relationships as a nation. And I think, obviously, the most failed relationship is fascism. I've been writing about right-wing movements of various varieties in the United States and abroad for about 20 years. And for a long time, I actually resisted the use of the word fascist, as many on the left and liberals use. I said there's more than one kind of bad under the sun. That was no kind of defense of, say, the first Bush administration, or denial that there aren't pockets and communities that experience fascism in the United States. But we didn't have that government. And in fact, in my 2008 book, The Family, which is about a fundamentalist group, I said, and these were guys who actually, after World War II, went and reported or recruited Nazi war criminals. I called it the ethical fascism. And I said, I don't think it's actually possible in America because of fundamentalism. Because American fundamentalism, Christian nationalists, will push out the Father, God, or a pure, a person on earth. And that's what fascism is, a cult of personality. I was wrong. I realized when I realized when Trump came down that golden escalator, I think they're going to do this. The fascism that American fundamentalism has supported wrong has come home. And then now, fascism just doesn't mean bad and authoritarian. Fascism means a cult of personality. It doesn't just mean violent. It means a kind of reverence and celebration of violence, the idea of regeneration of violence, and a pleasure in violence. It doesn't just mean nationalism. It means invoking a kind of mythic past. It's a utopian project. It is dream politics, a nightmare politics. And it is always about an enemy. And the United States right has always othered various groups, but it hasn't been quite as fully organized and openly organized around the enemy within, around a cult of personality, the reverence for violence, as it is now. And I think we have crossed over into a time when I and other very cautious academic scholars, historians of fascism, who had reservations at first, said, yes, we are now dealing with an American fascism.
What is the fascism without that cult of personality? I mean, because the thing that's, it seems so it's hard to sort of parse out theocracy. What happens if Donald Trump? Because when we talk about cult of personality, we're talking about Donald Trump, and it is almost as if all of these things were, and in fact, this is what I was saying when he came down that escalator on that very night, was the suit has been tailored, and this guy just fits. So what is left if the guy exits the suit, but the suit's still there, right? All the other stuff is not going away. So, where does that leave us? I mean, because much of it is driven by some type of fundamentalism, although not. It's a self-identified fundamentalism, but it's not sort of adhere to the precepts of what we would constitute Christian fundamentalism.
Oh, well, it does. That's one of the things this is something I understood from spending a long time writing on the Christian right. They've long understood, and this is kind of back to the Bible, with this figure called King Cyrus, Trump in the Christian right. It's frequently compared. King Cyrus is a Gentile, but he is used by God. God can use any tool. In fact, some Christian right leaders called Trump in 2016 God's chaos candidate. They called him a wrecking ball. The point was to sort of smash some walls and build others, right? Smash the wall of separation of church and state, which he did. This is by far and away more than Reagan, more than any Bush, the most successful. That was the most successful time for Christian right, and none of that goes away. That becomes part of the institution. But I think of, the suit's been tailored, right? I think of a pastor I met in Omaha, Nebraska. I went to a small mega church
This is Pastor Hank
Cunanan, something of a rising star in the prophetic Christian regularly appear from Lauren Boebert and General Michael Flynn, has a church with its own kind of militia, as more and more churches do, believes that churches should be arming up for war. The civil war is coming. And he says, of course, Trump is coming back. But he makes a distinction. He says Trump is coming back. Maybe the man himself, or maybe the spirit clothed in the flesh of another. It's the spirit of Trumpism. And I think this is something we learn from history, fascist movements. Trumpism is the threat. Trump may be the avatar of it. Maybe Ron DeSantis will be the avatar of it. There are avatars of it. There's avatars right here where I am. I'm in New Hampshire, right-wing families, doing my children's school, trying to get a list of queer kids. That the spirit of Trumpism let loose in the land, and I think it's what frustrates me so much about the old school political horse race reporting. Is focused on Trump versus DeSantis. That's not the issue. It's focused on, well, maybe Trump's defeated and we're back to normal. We're in the Trumpism. We're in the age of Trump, and that means a struggle.
Can you elaborate on the point about how his movement is still very connected to an evangelical Christian right line of thought? Because I returned to, I believe it was The Atlantic, profiling Mike Pence before the election about how a guy like him could support a guy like Trump. And really it comes down to, Trump being an imperfect vessel, but he's implementing God's grace by appointing these judges, right? But, it's more than just the political strategy of it. It's also, I feel, as Sam was alluding to, it colors the way that his followers behave politically, I would also argue.
Yeah, I think Mike Pence, all people should understand this best. I'm not a political pundit. I don't make predictions. But in one instance, I was almost prescient. My 2010 book, C Street, which was also about the Street Court and the family, is sort of they're the folks who organized the National Prayer Breakfast, of which Mike Pence was part. And at the end of the book, noting that a number of their members had fallen into various sex scandals, I said, so none of these guys are going to the White House. But maybe in 2016, it'll be a little-known Indiana congressman named Mike Pence. Well, it was close, right? And Pence he should understand why, though he doesn't necessarily win the big prize. Pence, for instance, was instrumental through that organization in arranging arms for the Sri Lankan government to commit really almost genocidal crimes against its own citizens. This is not a Christian government. But he believed that they were a means to an end. And I think there's a way that secularism has a kind of naivete about Christian nationalism, as if we imagine that they're somehow less savvy, less canny than the rest of us, that they don't understand that there are tools. Not only do they understand there are tools, the Bible is all about that, about God using imperfect men. This group, for instance, teaches King David, and I've heard Trump compare King David to King David. We know he's going to kill Goliath with the sling. He goes on to become kind of an awful man. Arranged his lead general's wife, arranges for the general to be killed. Christians know that. And that's what they understand. This is the equivalent of Trump saying, I can stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody. Or this idea that somehow we're going to take Ron DeSantis down by proving that he was present for force feeding in Guantanamo. They understand the brutality. And they make the deal.
What makes what's happening, and then I want to get into some of the specific things. What makes what's happening fascist versus Christian nationalist, let's say, and does it matter? I wonder, does it matter in terms of, or does it matter, and if so, how does it matter in terms of the way we respond and in terms of the way we assess?
I believe it does. Christian nationalist is a term we're using now. We use Christian right. We use American fundamentalism. These terms mutate and change. And there's a case to be made.
I was right there.
What happens in a fascist moment is the same as I believe happens in any social movement. And I think, again, many on the left believe social movement. That's our term, right? No. A good social movement or a bad one. The current fascist moment, it
was this weird smell.
And so I use odor eaters foot powder. It definitely brings me more confidence.
F45 is group fitness with the attention of a personal trainer.
Is a social movement. And what's interesting to me, reporting on the right so long, is to see so many factions of the right, all in conflict, converging. Christian nationalism is one. A right-wing libertarianism, right-wing Catholicism, which is certainly not evangelicalism, this kind of proud boy culture, which pulls on Christian nationalism is obviously something else. It's sort of like proud misogyny. That's what the same old corporate right, big business, Elon Musk, all of these things converging. That's when you get a big strong current. That's when you get this undertow. And I think it's also critical to make that distinction because the right-wing movement right now is not one of American exceptions. We have the Trump of America. Brazil just got rid of its Trump of Brazil, but he may not be going for long. Erdogan in Turkey is going for Trump in Turkey. There is a Buddhist genocide in Myanmar, calls himself Trump of Myanmar. There's Putin, there's Xi. We live in Orban, a global fascist ascendancy. And it's certainly not all Christian. And so what is flying these horses together? That, I think, we just have this larger role of fascism. And we understand that the fascism of today is not the fascism of 1945. It's the center point.
Well, let's just also talk about the circumstances, which is sort of different, right? I mean, the at least in the context of 1935, what we're looking at is a country that had been destroyed. A national psyche that had been destroyed in World War I. They had been humiliated in the post-World War I, sort of new order, as it were. And there was also material deprivation. We don't really have those things. And, or do we?
I believe we do. I think it's also worth remembering that we pay most attention to Germany, not as much to Italy, where fascism begins, or, fascism gains power. Fascism begins in 1970 France, which is also
We got a fuel truck incoming. Take it out.
And fascism ripples, this great story rather than connects the humanity of fascism. It looks at the ways in which fascism did or did not take hold or gain ground. Ireland, for instance, is an individual fascist movement. Rachel Madden's great recent program introduces us to the American fascist movement, which didn't win, but was competitive. And so I think the change has to do with, we also, of course, didn't have social media, right? So what would our fascism look like? We didn't have nearly as many guns. We have now 393 million guns, at least, in civilian hands in the United States. More guns than there are people. We had nothing like that we didn't have the same. We built up a tradition going back to the Vietnam War. It's Kathleen Franks, bringing the war. This is what I'm going to do. I go on radio shows, man. Recommend it.
We've had Catherine on to talk about that.
Really about the ways in which those wars give rise to television in America, but also we have the immediate moment when we speak of a crisis of democracy, speak of a crisis of climate. And at the book, I kind of reject this language. I think crisis is this kind of narrative language. It's going to come to a head the final battle. Trump said this weekend in Lincoln. Rather, it's our condition. We live in a state of climate where people say, well, these guys who are joining fascism, they don't do that. Tell me about a man, I see this Irish country riding around, who rigs up his truck So it doesn't just put out the normal methods. It puts these special big pipes. It's rolling coal, extra exhaust. Think about this. Here's a really strange analogy.
Jeez.
They used to Yiddish, the language of Eastern European Jews. There used to be a lot of Yiddish anarchists. So they're atheists. And on Yom Kippur every year, they would have a feast. You're not supposed to eat, so they would have a feast. You're not supposed to eat pork. This was a way of saying.
Ain't got much time. There problems?
No. A couple of the Peggy
See,
sealed the wall, but we got
see
it.
how much I don't believe in you? Same thing with rolling
I just
coal.
keep pressure on it. You know, I was gonna retire last year. Was worried I'd get bored.
Are you gonna introduce us, or we're just gonna stand around here all awkward and shit?
Language!
Oh, fuck off, Virgil. Not today.
I have told you a vulgar mind is a sign of... You're not wearing your button!
No, I'm not wearing it.
I'll need a casualty report.
We're cougars!
We're really not.
Look, I'm wearing my button. The sheriff is wearing his button. This person... I'm sorry, who is this?
This is one of my deputies.
I thought you said your deputies were taken.
Oh, this one wasn't. Been giving Eden's Gate a hell of a time from what I hear.
That's so. Well, I hope you plan on pitching in. No room for freeloaders.
Oh, Tracy's all right when she gets to know you. She's right about the work, though. Plenty to be done around here. Just ask around. Good to have you back, though.
Okay, then.
I'm pretty impressed we managed to last this long out here. Deputy, none of my business, but you might want to ask Virgil or the others for an update. They know the places we need to strike.
I thought I'd seen it. How you making out? Over here. Gonna be honest. Never thought I'd see you again.
I'm on your side, asshole!
Come here a sec, Rook.
LOL.
Never thought I'd see you again. After the crash, I just was in fog. Then walking in the field. Then I saw her. You see it too, haven't you, Rook? Whatever she says, whatever she promises, it's a lie. Stay away from her and you'll end up like Marshall. Bliss. Makes you forget. Makes you feel free. You just want to stay there forever. But it isn't real. None of it. If Virgil and Tracy hadn't found me, I'd still be out there, swimming in a sea of bliss. Prisoner in my own head. Those two saved my life. These cougars are good people, but they're hanging on by a thread. We gotta help them, Rook. No one else will. One last thing. We had a doctor. Well, a veterinarian, but he's doing his best. Guy with us had some flowers ago. Don't know why, don't know how. Keep an eye out for him, would you?
Real glad this whole force is still standing.
What's up, dude?
Well, well,
I see you searching, but lost. I was younger. I spent years searching. I was a rat and lazy. Same way. Father was the first person to help me realize.
Gonna say that's inadvisable.
Here goes nothing.
See how much I don't believe in the way that if I live in the West, I'm beset by fire. If I live here in Vermont, we have floods the way that we haven't seen in forever. The way that the land is changing all around me. The way that the economy is changing all around me. Just because you don't want to acknowledge it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because you can't name it doesn't mean you're not believing it. I think of all the militia churches I visited as I was going around the country. They all talk about the weather. Because the weather is strange and they know it. But instead of naming it climate change, they name it part of some of God's plan. But they're still scared. They're still in this moment of crisis. What's going to happen? They know the Salt Lake, Great Salt Lake is drying up. Colorado River is drying up. People who are out there know it. They may believe it's God. They may believe it's Jewish space lasers. But they know something's changing and they're scared. For some of them, the prescription, the solution is this kind of ecstatic iron fist, the joy of fascism, which is how they experience it.
It's a method of empowering themselves in the face of either sort of like these things that are happening they have no control over, and we could expand upon the weather. We can talk about. I mean, there has been for the first time in a century, really, a decrease in the life expectancy of a lot of these people, in particular, white men at a certain age.
Would have gotten as much speed. I think one of the important things about the book that talk about Trump, but most of the book takes place after. The acceleration happens after Trump's term and after COVID. And again, people who don't believe in COVID, there's a million plus dead in America, many more sick than normal in many of those difficult places. It's grief without mourning, right? If you don't mourn, that grief hurts. You turn over anger or hate.
Yeah, I've been shocked, really, frankly, after the 22 election. Even I thought, like, okay, the Republican sort of boogie person of trans people is going to go away because they got defeated electorally on those terms, and the complete opposite. I was completely wrong. And the complete opposite took place. The acceleration of anti-trans fervor legislation has. I've never seen anything like the way that it is responding. Completely the opposite. Like, even like after what it was, maybe the 2012 or maybe it was 2010 or 2000. I can't remember when the big Republican autopsy was about immigration. At least there was like 3 or 4 or 5 months where, even the worst of them, even like Hannity was like, we've got to really contemplate this and maybe have a reckoning. And then it sort of drifted away over time. But this was like weeks after the election. It was almost like a
a switch went off, and this sort of like turbo version of anti-trans legislation spread across the country, like head spinning. And there does feel like there's some type of accelerant that is in the wake of Trump.
You know, we're now approaching something like 20 states that are, to some degree or not, criminalizing trans healthcare, which is to say, criminalizing trans people. We have, listeners probably know, the recent CPAC conference, big applause line for eradication. He made this eradication of transgenderism. He says, I'm not talking about killing the people. Meanwhile, we have all over the country, including around here, groups demanding lists of kids who attend gay-straight alliances in their school. Lists. When other times in history, and I say it'll never happen here, we could have imagined we'd get to this point. To those who say, oh, Civil War, that rhetoric is too much. They have two answers. One, I've been driving around the country. I would have said that before then too, but I've been driving around the country the last 2 years. It's not even a question anymore. I say Civil War to folks. And the answer is always yes. It's just when, and whether they're looking forward to it. But I would argue there's already casualties. The second to last chapter, the penultimate chapter of the book, I drive around Wisconsin after the fall of Roe. Wisconsin became the only blue state to revert to the 1849 law, the only blue state to completely outlaw abortion. And I was in Wisconsin with my own child to write about this with their permission. My 13-year-old, who is a queer, non-binary kid, is suffering like so many kids are now. Mental health struggles. And how do I tell my kid not to be paranoid, how not to be afraid, when half the country is passing laws against them? When their schools is holding strong, the schools around us are in New Hampshire are taking down every rainbow, whether or not it has to do with pride, for fear. When there's a hotline in which you can report teachers, and when they look like my kids always abused, they hear about women being I think the attack on trans is going to escalate. I will say I don't think it stops there. And I think, if we look at Trump, just the Trump era alone, right? 2016, he comes in with a Muslim ban and he moves to undocumented folks. And then he adds trans folks. He never drops any, he adds. All along, there's the media and there's us. Because we're the perfect enemy within, because we look like anybody else. Your own child can be a journalist. Right. And of course, the rising tide of anti-Semitism, which I think is not spoken. And all of the rising tide of anti-Asian hate, they're adding. And I think there's still some liberal folks who make this mistake. It's the oldest mistake, right? They say, oh, it's just terrible what's happening to those people, right? It's terrible what they're doing to trans people. There's some good-hearted people as well. It's not my place, because I'm not on the front line. You're on the front line. Fascism, that's what fascism is. It's a cult of innocence that thrives on death. It's coming for everybody. It comes for fascists themselves. No one will be protected. I think about around here, we're close to the Canadian border, so the Border Patrol started putting up checks on the highway, maybe further away than they were legally allowed to. We looked at all the white folks, the white citizens. American citizens, indignant, right-wingers, indignant, outraged that they were being forced to wait on the highway. Well, of course they were. Did they think is authoritarianism somehow set that way? It comes for everyone. The trans folks, the trans kids, I think that's another old David song. Which side are you on? Lawrence Reed's Striking Miners in Kentucky. That's a which side are you on moment. And the folks who say it's complicated, do you stand with the men who have AR-15s outside of schools, hospitals, libraries, or do you stand with the defenders?
There's an analogy too with just Trump personally in terms of those around him.
he'll eventually eat all of them and bring in new people. I mean, that's basically what's happening. So give us a sense of what, like, you're not using Civil War as a metaphor. And so, like, give us a sense of, like, how you think this manifests itself. If, or a sense of how the people you spoke to, we should say, like, you know, and then I want to get to Ashley Babbitt too, which the sort of where the title of the book comes from. But as you're talking to all these people, and it's almost an ethnography on some level. As you're talking to all these people, what do you glean from them as to what a civil war would look like?
I think what they think a civil war looks like is imaginary, right? Just as a new excerpt from the book up in Vanity Fair today, Guns Are What Matters. There it was in Rifle, Colorado, the affluent Rifle, Colorado, at Warren Goldman's Shooter's Grill, which is like Hooters but with guns, waitresses, but also carrying giant sodomers. And I ended up having a lunch. I mean, it's all sort of kitsch. Fascism is kitsch, and I think that also confuses people. They think it's silly and funny, and therefore it doesn't matter. So I had a Guac 9 hamburger, guacamole, or as they call it there, guacamole. I had a Guac 9 hamburger with a militiaman. And on the one hand, here's the good news, right? This guy is well armed. And he kept saying, we're going to rise up. We're going to rise up when they come for our guns. Well, first of all, the Biden administration, I don't think any American government is going to come and take all the guns. That's not going to happen. So great. Meanwhile, this guy believes that Democrats are actually eating children. Well, if that's not enough to get you in the streets, maybe you're not coming out. I don't think.
And we should just say, literally thinks that Democrats are eating children. Like that, like top leadership is eating. He's full of like QAnon, Pizzagate, whatever that.
And he's not mentally ill, and he's not stupid. Those beliefs are common. And I almost guarantee you, wherever you go, you may not know it, you may not come up with a conversation. You know people, you may even have friends who hold these beliefs. In Wisconsin, Marinette, Wisconsin, I spent some time in the home of a leader of a militia, a fairly large militia, an arsenal of guns. He said, that's only the legal stuff. And he was a J6er. He was streaming footage on his TV of his own footage he'd taken at J6. Well, when does the Civil War start? This is when the feds kick in his door. But what does he imagine? These are guys who've seen Red Dawn too many times.
Right.
We say, they imagine, up in the hills, they imagine this heroic resistance. Some of this, I'll say, is on the left, too. I hear leftists saying, I'm not afraid of these guys because we're arming up and going around them. Or I hear liberals say, well, these militias are in for a surprise when an F-16 comes. And yet, I think maybe one of the most important and overlooked pieces of opinion journalism recently was in the Washington Post, 3 retired generals speaking to the fault lines within the military. And this is something I've reported on fairly extensively for previous books. Where is the situation? The militia is not going to come marching. There's not going to be Red Dawn in New York, or that movie, Texas Invades Bushwick. That's not happening. All these things.
I know you've heard stories about me. That I'm a liar. A manipulator. That I poison people's minds. Well, let me tell you a different story. True story. There once was a young woman who had been ostracized by her community, bullied by friends, abused by her family. She took to the needle forever. She was all alone. She wanted to die. And then she met my father. He gave her hope and confidence. The father showed her how special she was. She was full of love and life. He gave her a new family, one that accepted her just as she was. The young woman no longer wished to die. She had been given purpose. One day, the father brought her here. He asked if she had faith in him. He asked if she would be willing to die for him. The young woman very much wished to live. I was scared. The father told her this was her test. He would have faith in her if she had faith in him. So she closed her eyes and left. The father kept his word. The path to Eden is clear to those who have faith.
Walk the path.
You must have faith. Let go. Let your faith be your guide. Lead. Accept the word of the Father into your heart. Let your faith be your guide. Lead. Accept the word of the Father into your heart. I will give you purpose. I will set you free.
Ask him. If you want to hear, you can ask him. He'll tell you.
Well, did that happen?
Marty, why don't you shut the fuck up for a second?
It's considered. I think the best bet. First off, big shout out to you.
Do you feel alive? The first step.
Okay, yeah. First off, big shout out to William Oriole for doing his due diligence. His constant digging. The guy is a super sleuth. He's a real hound dog. He's an absolutely incredible and equally frightening guy. But like things get like a little murky here. So I think the best bet is to dive right into the police report, right? Don't you think?
give like a full sense of what's actually going on here right now. Yeah, that's the best bet. That's the best bet. So, yeah, you'll see an Akron Police Department incident report involving one Jake Baroni, who we all of 783 Roselawn Avenue. Oh my lord, dude, yeah. You should be scared. You should be scared. You have every right to be scared. So, 783 Roselawn Avenue, we all know that as Security Jake. Shout out to William Glory Hole once again for digging this up. Lordy. That's right, RG. That's right, man. That's right. So, investigation pending. Yeah, linked to suspect's sibling. That's not dark at all, right? Especially the lead up. This is all something that we're all going to process together here. This is something that we all have to take in collectively, cumulatively, and process it. And we can all do the math on this one. It's sibling, yes. Yes. That the sibling would be Virgil Jr. Virgil Sr. is the father. But this is a report. Let's scroll down. Now's a good time to scroll down, I think. You know what? I'll do it moment by moment. Offense number 1: rape. Suspect sexually assaulted victim. I don't want to give it all away at once here, but you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, offense number 1: rape, and perpetrator. Jake's brother. And here's the fucked up thing here too. So, this in your pipe and smoke it. Jake always refers to, and put this out there as well. Well, I guess the report revealed it. How do I say this? Trying to put this as politely and sensitively as I can in circumstances. I will say that Jake and Cyrax do have a brotherly relationship, but currently Jake has regained his power, and now he's the hammer. Cyrax is the nail, and he's keeping him quiet by buying him toys, presumably it was the same thing that happened with Jake as a younger man. And I don't want to portray Jake as a victim. He was, but by buying Cyrax toys to shut up about getting boned in the ass, I don't know if he's somebody that we should necessarily feel sorry for him for. You know, yeah, but that's my take on this. I'm sorry for the delay. This isn't cool. No, none of this is cool. I would say that none of this is cool whatsoever. None of this is remotely cool at all. This is wrong release. Well, yeah. So look, I understand your reservations. But it's wrong if you got boned in the ass for toys as a kid to then find a mentally disabled, retarded man and buy him toys and regain your power by fucking him in the ass and just, I don't know. So where's the morality? What is the right thing to do here? I don't agree with reason this. Well, I mean, I hear you. Like, this is a very dark and complicated scenario. So how would you advise me to proceed? What's the right thing to do here? You just keep letting him get banged in the ass for toys? You just keep letting Jake bang Cyrax in the ass for little trinkets? I don't know. Look, look, I like to process things with you guys, because sometimes I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So help guide me. Look, so I'll just present the information, and maybe you can walk me through what I should do. Like, I don't know. And I know it's probably pretty tasteless right now to announce these, but it's an industry standard. I have to give a big shout out to Crookmaster for the 20, for the 5, Anonymous for the 15, and John B for the 10. I'm sorry, that's just what I have to do. It would be wrong of me not to. I don't know what's right here. I don't know what's right here. Anyways, so Vernon Baroni Jr. is banging was banging Jake in the ass, then I think that anyone would agree that he deserves to be exposed. Would you agree with that? If Vernon Baroni Jr. is banging his little brother Jakey boy in the ass, then I don't think that should just be swept under the rug. Like, that's not cool, that's not okay, that's very wrong. If anyone who disagrees with this feels that Vernon Baroni should just be allowed to get away with this, well, then that's on you. And I don't think that predators should be allowed to hide their past transgressions. Like, this has clearly shaped Jake, which clearly then shaped Cyrax, and maybe, well, actually, I think that Cyrax actually strangled his grandmother and raped Blind Billy before he got raped in the ass for toys. So to say that that's causal, I don't know if it's necessarily fair. And I want to be as fair as I possibly can here. It's fucking disgusting. Yeah, I agree that it is, RG. I couldn't agree with you more. But this is the thing. Suspect sexually assaulted victim, reporter Jake Baroni. But he was 18 years old when this happened. So, look, for anyone who thinks this is wrong, the reporting of actual crimes, outing actual violators, then hang on. I'm not going to fault you. But I'm going to play this video for you now, and I'm going to implore, request that you evaluate what we know about Cyrus and Jake's current relationship.
Good news for conservation.
What we know about Jake's past, what he went through. And I'm not going to say that that's okay, because it was very fucked up. But Jake knows how it felt to be fucked for toys in his butthole, and he's not stopping it. He's repeating the cycle. So let me then play this video and allow you guys to just process and think.
Jake romantically interested in you, is that true?
I know y'all know about your brother Jake. What about you, sexual actor?
I gotta say that it's fucked up to call him woman. I gotta say that it's fucked up to call him woman. Thank you, pussy. Okay, sorry, that's what you want. That's what you want. That'll make you feel better.
Getting close to
Now more than ever, I want to say I'm here for you. This is a long statement. And again, it's not a reference to fucking the ass for toys. It was just
And yes, that actually was true. And I talked about this with Jake. Like, I talked to him about this over text message and stuff. And he straight out, you know.
I wasn't laughing at how sinister this is. You want those toys, boy? You know how to get them.
Back in high school, you know, I didn't have a thing for you, which I still do. But you know, I'm willing to put that aside because I don't want to ruin our friendship. I would rather, you know, have you, you know, as my brother, as my best friend, and stuff like that. And ever since then, he's pretty much let it go. And we've been.
Look, let's keep in mind here too. Like, this is important. If Jake could have danced to avoid getting fucking his ass, would he warn you? I would say that he wouldn't have. But I think that Cyrax would, because he really likes those toys. If it's consensual, and it's a quid pro quo just for that, that's one thing. I think that if Jake knew that he was just giving somebody something they wanted to get advice, then he would find some other retard to fuck in the ass and give them whatever they wanted. So, like, Cyrax, I'm here for you. I don't want you to blow a good deal. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. But let's just watch this video. Let's not get too. It's difficult to actually think about all this. It's kind of fucked up work.
Been, you know, just really good friends.
Is he bisexual?
I think he's more or less vicarious. This guy. I'm not entirely sure, but like.
Thanks for checking out the stream tonight. If you did, I'm still gonna keep going for a little bit longer, just until I get past this part, maybe.
It is what it is, though, you know.
Yeah. For people who say like Cyrax like this, it's not a good Jake is actually, I don't know if he's always gay, but he definitely made like a pass inside that charge. Oh my god, look at this guy now, he's like monsters. Look at this guy knowing what he's doing. Knowing what he's doing, it's fucked up to look at this guy's eye. I'm sorry. Knowing like the psychological dynamics here, it's fucked up to look at this guy's eyes. Knowing he's pounded his little brother the fuck in the ass. I'm sorry, but
Speak aloud. Corbett reports Century of Enslavement 2013 New Pearl Harbor. Kill anything that moves. Why We Fight. Waco Massacre documentary and Rothschild. That makes sense. Thanks for reminding me I live in America. I like this Far Cry game. It's pretty neat. There we go. God damn it, I lost one. This is like what happened at Nashville today. Jeez. Where's the other people? Okay, there we go.
That was too close. What the hell was that? Hope you weren't aiming for me.
Okay. There we go. Getting knifed. This fire grew fast.
Actions like these are sparking the resistance. Those people are stronger today because of you. Just like the story of David and Goliath. You're inspiring real courage. Keep it up.
He fucking did it. I don't want to waste it, my knives.
Brothers and sisters, someone out there is not playing by the rules. Someone is taking from us, stealing what rightfully belongs to the Father. They are a murderer and a coward. But God sees them, and God will guide us to them. They will be found, and they will be punished. This is the will of the Father.
Okay. Now I'm just like looting.
Getting marked is bad news.
Now what? Okay. Don't tell me that was all the missions. I don't think that was.
Never really appreciated balls in until you gave it back to me.
Okay. Okay, so I've done 3 out of 43 missions apparently. Okay, that makes sense.
Honey, it's me. Are you with the kids? Listen.
Okay. Guess I'll see this boy. Wait. Fuck. Okay, I see where I'm supposed to go. Okay, there we go. I'm still gonna see that boy. Just because I can.
It's fucking dark. Like, maybe you guys are just completely psychotic, like completely depraved of any conscience whatsoever. It is messed up. Yeah, it really is. It really is. I'm sorry, but it is. I look at him, like, yeah. So I go up and I buy him some pockets. I get him some trinkets. He shuts up, and I fuck him in the ass. He's a monster. Yeah. You know, to be fair, it's also a byproduct of this environment. But I don't know.
Like, I get like really down and like that, but he did say like, hey, you know, I'd rather be your best friend to your brother than to ruin something, you know, something that would, you know, I
just want to be your brother.
I would rather do that than to, you know, ruin a friendship. And I commend him for that, because most people will be like, oh, that's not fair, or, oh, no, like, oh, like, I would rather, you know, have him in my life as, you know, my best friend, my brother, you know, like, you know, it's proven that way. And I was like, oh, yeah.
And how did he make his move?
Yeah, it was weird. Like, it really was weird. Like he just kind of like wrote me on Facebook, and then I was like, what? You didn't tell me this. Why?
Like, you gotta give a shout out to Brett. Do I think this is gonna be a Brokeback Saga? No, I don't. I was like between consenting adults. I posted the link, Cyrax. I posted the link, like, don't be aggressive with me. I know this is weird. I know look. Okay, I don't view this as I'll post it again. Post it again. Post it over and over and over again. I'm not sure, Mark. No, I don't think it's gonna be a Brokeback Saga. is, I feel bad for the guy.
Are you gonna get your ass handed to you by the executive fat ass? Oh, shut the fuck up. Are you gonna get your fucking ass?
Why? What do you mean?
What? You're glad. Fuck off. You're fuck something, faggot. You're posting fake ass shit that ain't even real. Someone just shut the fuck up with that gun.
This is brother and his dad named Virgil Cyrax.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's a yes. So it's not, this is real. This is real. This is real.
What you're doing is fake. What you're doing is fake. You're fake ass. You're pussy and you're fake. Every time I was talking to Jake a few minutes ago, his brother ain't never been to jail, bitch. That's fake. You have that shit and they know.
This looks really damning. How would I know that his brother's name is Virgil and his dad's name is Virgil and that he lives at 783 Roselawn? It's all real, Cyrax.
Oh, hey, bro, go to fucking A.
Does he live on Roselawn?
You're lying.
Does he live on Roselawn? Because I have a picture of his car at 783 Roselawn Avenue. Tell me that's the Cyrax.
Why you lying, pussy? Your ass. That's why I got to in the bottom. I beat your fucking ass, didn't I? Guess what, bitch? I'm still here, nigga. I'm still here. I'm still here. What you gonna do? Nothing. All I know is that we're gonna fight out of my house fucking outside, bitch. You want to...
I've been busy processing, like, using butt fuck for toys.
Nah, nigga, nah, bro. Stop right there. Have one of your little bitch friends message my feelings after I had my fucking house fucked up. Well, suck my cock, baggy bitch motherfucker.
Just, there's no need for this. Like, honestly, like, I'm actually being with you. This is all very dark and scary. I don't feel good about this. I don't feel right about this, but it's something that's occurring.
You're rolling in fucking dirt, bitch. You're rolling in goddamn dirt. You don't deserve to breathe air. You don't deserve to live. You're nothing but a sick, fuck-faced monster that deserves to fucking die. Bitch, a pussy, and you ain't got the balls to out-trip me, bitch, because I am the king. I'm no baggy that.
I would never be out-driven by a grown man that's fucking his ass with toys. That's you.
The bitch, then fucking get on board and call me, you bitch, man.
I might be willing to do that. I'll even take this off the screen. But I'd like to hear from Jake that this didn't happen, because I don't believe you.
No, motherfucker, that ain't no money, bitch. You're gonna do it, or we're gonna sit there and look like a pussy in front of all your faggot out.
Super toy. Garbage. Why? Like, that's, you're out. You get fucked in the ass for toys.
Hey, Marty, your mom's so fucking ugly that when she went to the club, you got fucking nightmares from her ass. Your mom just fucking fighting Kroger nightmares, bitch. And what did you?
And here's the true story. Your mother was so retarded that she burned to death in a house fire. Like, that's actually a real story, so whatever you're saying, it just kind of falls on deaf ears, bro.
Marty, I know what your issue is, motherfucker. And see, you were raped by your mom and daddy. Oh, no, I forgot.
It's kind of weird that he keeps calling you his brother. Like, here's what's happening, sir. Calm down. Here's what's happening, sir. Shut up. Jake was a little guy. He got fucked in his ass for toys. Now he's giving you toys. He's kissing you. Take you on dates as long as you don't talk about it. Like,
thanks. I thought
you have. I know it makes you uncomfortable, so you're gonna scream.
Oh, where is it? Oh, shit.
Fuck. This is fucked up.
Let's go. Show us my fucking house. Watch out, fast like you goddamn ass. Watch out, fast like you don't get guns all over the shit. Not time to tell us. Bust your fucking mouth. I tapped him up there. I tapped my face. Cause you ain't nothing but a bitch. You ain't nothing but a bitch. Ain't no time to faggot ass. Running your mouth, talking this, talking that. Man, get the fuck out of here with that, bro. You ain't got no life. You ain't got no friends. You ain't nothing but a punk ass. You ain't nothing but a bitch, man, buddy. If you got the balls to face me, then show me what you got. Run your car, knock your mouth. Get off Forza right now and face me, man to man. Oh, no.
F1, nigger boy.
F1. F1's for pussies.
Your jail defense was amazing.
You wanna face me, nigga? Let's go on the streets. And I'm murdering your damn ass. And then I'm going after your girl and her family. Just like you went after mine. Cause I tell you right now, Marty, you ain't nothing but a bitch.
Look, your family should fuck you in the ass for toys. So, who am I going after, Jake? I'm just using you for your ass.
No, you ain't, motherfucker, so shut the fuck up, you faggot motherfucker. And Marty, your mama should spit instead of swallow, bitch. And maybe then your faggot ass wouldn't have been born. That's why your daddy fucked your little sister and had your retarded ass. Cause you're product of incest.
We're talking like Raji. Your dad actually was a rapist. A 14-year-old girl who liked that, raped her. Like, my dad's being shirtless, so we're talking about
why don't you do yourself a favor and go fuck yourself?
Shut up.
Make me shut up, bitch. All your things if you're dead. Go balls. Dumb bitch.
Give up that ass. Sorry, I'm kidding. It's fucked up. It's fucked up because it's actually real. Look, Jesus Christ.
Marty, if you have this ass, I guarantee your ass gonna get stabbed.
What are you doing?
Oh, come on, Marty. You want to come at me? Watch how fast I gouge out your damn eyeballs, bitch.
What is that?
Oh, trust me. You don't need to know what this is. But I get your teeth.
God damn it.
I got real quick, bitch.
Everything would have been fine if that fucking helicopter didn't show the fuck up.
Cocksucker.
That ain't nothing. Show me your other hand. It's nothing.
You know what you're proving right now? You're proving that you are all the Bushido code. You're proving to me that you have no honor. Your honor is coward. You have no honor.
Shut up. Show me what you got in your hand. Maybe I'll take you seriously. Show me what you got in your hand. Maybe, just maybe I'll take you seriously.
Better, Marty. So great, just.
So, I just want to talk with him. It's like this. I just want to know what he has in his hand. I'm curious.
Like I said, Marty, you show up here, you're gonna find out what I got in my hand, ain't you?
I showed up there.
Over here! I see him!
What do you mean? Show up. I don't take you seriously, you little bitch.
Why don't you tell the world how you murdered Jamie? How you murdered that hooker? Hey, Marty, I'll bet you what they do.
It's such a wild imagination. Look, explain to me all the circumstances.
What a piece of shit you are. Why don't you tell the world how you attacked Christian?
Christian, I don't have any connection with Christian.
I call bullshit, mother.
You're so crazy. I just wanted to explain to you, like, and I came to some very serious deal. I'm sorry this is going on with me. Closer. Come closer. Let me see your nose. Come closer. Come closer, Cyrax.
Might have a fighting chance against Joseph's brain-dead dudes now.
Come closer.
Sorry, my name's Charles. Everyone calls me Doctor. I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm a veterinarian. But right now, I guess I'm the resident ER doctor. Stitching up bullet wounds, just get me the missing ingredients. I'll be back at the jail working on the formula for the injuries.
What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Ah, please, you're the king. You're the king. Shut up, Cyrax. You're so full of shit, dude. This is why everyone hates you. You're so full of shit.
But you're lazy. Matters like this because you're lazy. You have no balls. You have no creativity. Not music. Take shit on yours. Eat.
Pull up your car in F1. Pull up your car in F1.
Alrighty, that's going to be the stream for tonight. You got a little bit further, and 1 second.
That's why your man gets fucked in the ass for toys. You know what? I have no regard for you because you do it by choice. You could dance, you could race, you could not get fucked in the ass for toys, but you choose to do it. So, okay, go on. Go on. I have no more. Look, there's no regard for you. There's no regard for you.
Come do something then.
Alrighty, that's gonna be the stream for tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it while it lasted, and I'll be back with more content. So yeah, you guys have a wonderful night.
You're too costly to finish the job. You're too much low cost. You're too much low cost.
God damn it. Jesus Christ, Control, calm the fuck down.